I came to a new place and I have feelings. Oh, it must mean something. Let's analyze. Hey, here we are. We're going to call this childhood bedroom core. And it is truly the quintessential childhood bedroom. You know, you've got relics of my past, my furniture of my past. You have stuff my parents have just deposited in here because seemingly there is nowhere else to put it. And it creates this beautiful amalgamation of home. It's very wholesome. It's very quaint. It's indeed my childhood bedroom because here's the news. I'm back in Michigan. I'm home for the holidays. Amazing. I am staying here for about 2 months because I want to experience the full effect. And that also means that I have left London for the time being. You know, I'm doing the whole back and forth thing because, you know, while I live in London and while I must, for legal reasons, call London home, or else I suppose I violate the terms of my visa, you know, still when I think of home, I do still think of Michigan. Slightly, you know, not that London is not home, but you know, it's very fraught. It's very confusing. Like when you move to another country or to another city, to be fair, like it becomes very difficult to like really determine like, well, what is my home? Like what is home? And home on some level always has to be this place where I grew up, this place that houses my childhood furniture. Like it has to be. So that's what I'm working with here right now. But yeah, you know, it's the jet set life. It's the life that I decided I wanted. Like I very intentionally chose this life. I chose it like when I married a Londoner, like a very born and bred true believer in the vast possibilities of London kind of Londoner. When I married one of those, I had the terms though that, well, I will still come back to my hometown for several months out of the year so as to maintain the family connections. Like that was my non-negotiable. And so here I am. I must arrange my life in such a way that I can be in both places, that I can have my London life and I can also have my Michigan life, my small town. I mean, as my sister and I came up with, I think last year, my like Walmart brand Stars Hollow life, like, And so, you know, I had my final days in London and I tried to be the best version of my London self. And then I was back. Being back, like coming back home always does bring up like a whole range of interesting emotions. It brings up unexpected feelings. And one would think like, okay, well, if you're going there and back all the time, like at some point, doesn't it just become like, well, I'm just in a place? No, apparently not. Apparently every single time I do these homecomings, I have to have like a full several weeks, maybe even months. It might never stop of turmoil over like, what is my life? What is my life? Where do I belong? Is the bicontinental life right for me? Am I tired out by it? Am I exhausted? Do I want to just maybe come back to a place that's closer to home? Do I want to live in my hometown again? Probably not. But I mean, I'm not going to say it hasn't crossed my mind because it certainly has. I mean, I did become obsessed with like buying this like super like crumbling house in my hometown, and it like has since sold to other people. And I'm not going to lie, like I'm a little bitter about that. I am like, that was my house. That was my house. Like that house with its beautiful vintage features, with its leaded glass windows, with its third floor, with like the arched ceilings, with like, oh my God, like it was mine, with the balcony, with the sunroom. It was my house. It was my house. And now someone else owns it. And I'm like, it's not right. It's not right. I probably won't move back though, because now of course my house belongs to someone else. So but yeah, you would think, though, that I would not feel so much, that I would not feel this level of conflict, because I very much believe, like I have to believe in my heart of hearts, that a person can have as many homes as they want to have. I mean, I don't mean like own as many properties as they want to. I mean, like in your heart, you can have as many homes as you want to have. Like if you want to have homes all over the world, great. If you want to be one of those home is wherever I lay my hat kind of people, great. And I'm trying really hard to be that kind of person who feels like, yeah, no matter what I do, I'm at home. I'm at home everywhere. I am at home wherever I lay my hat. But no, like the conflicting emotions I feel every time I come back run something like this. So I return to my hometown and suddenly everything in my life feels very cozy. It feels very warm, very comfortable. I feel comfortable. I feel like I have tapped back into a purer, truer version of myself. Okay. The background is that I used to hate it here. Like, I used to be the most adamant hater of this place. I was like, oh, it's so boring. There's nothing to do. There's no culture. And I adopted this attitude very much after I took my first trip to New York City at 14. And then I came back and I was like, ugh. And I will get out and I will go on to the big city and I will be this like superior person. And I get it. Like that's, it's like I am what's wrong with society, apparently. I don't believe this anymore though. And I was the biggest urban like supremacist you could possibly imagine. Like I was like, this city is the only place for me. I can be happy nowhere else. And you know, the thing is now though that like I've lived in cities like almost as long as I have lived in this town. Like I guess I lived here for the first 18 years of my life, and now I'm almost 35. I'm getting close though to the point where I will have like lived in larger cities almost as long as I have been a small town girl. And well, what I can say is that I'm not completely convinced that the big cities are the promised land. I have now lived in enough big cities and had enough experiences in big cities that I can say, well, yeah, I mean, they're nice. Like, they're nice. They have things to do. However, the reality of living in a big city in this economy is ultimately that you don't actually get to partake in the culture. So you're surrounded by culture, but you're not allowed to access it a lot of the time. And that can be like quite demoralizing, disappointing after a while. 'Cause most of the time in London, I do exactly what I would do here. I go to the grocery store quite a bit. I cook dinners. I eat food in front of the TV. I try to do my work. I try to become the writer that I know is within me somewhere. I go to the same places all the time. Sometimes I get a bus to a different part of town and think, oh, yeah, nice, good. I like that. And that's it. That's what I do. And so it does kind of get to be a little bit monotonous after a while. And I think, though, what coming back to my small hometown does for me ultimately, unfortunately, because it does make my inner turmoil worse, what it does is it sort of presents this alternative life. And I almost want to look inside this alternative life and see like, oh, well, there are still younger people around this town. I mean, some of them I even loosely know, and they don't live so far flung from each other. And, we could in theory just go and hang out spur of the moment. Wow, there could be this immediacy of experience of the social world. And I haven't had that in such a long time. What could that exist? And then I think about it though, and I'm like, oh well, I mean, I still do have all my prejudices though. I still do deep down in my heart of hearts kind of think oh, this place isn't cultured enough, and I know that's bad, and I do still kind of deep down think, oh, the city is better, and maybe I can just make my life in both places and enjoy both of them. But I don't know. I do wonder where could community form is really what I'm asking here. And of course, there is this whole political dimension too, where it's I'm very wary of the politics of a lot of people in this town. I don't know how everyone believes politically, who I like encounter day to day, but some of them I'm sure believe in things that would absolutely horrify me, though I'm also like, well, ooh, what if maybe we could have a conversation about it and we'd find that, well, fundamentally we want the same things, then we build a grassroots campaign and we make the world a better place. And I mean, maybe though, maybe it, like, all of that seems possible, and I'm just like, I'm in this turmoil always. But I mean, that's nothing new. That's nothing new. Turmoil's not new. I'm pretending it's new because, like, I feel like I'm always just so fascinated with my changes of location. I'm like, wow, I came to a new place and I have feelings. Oh, it must mean something. Let's analyze. And like, here we are. Here we are. I'm just like, just analyzing my feelings. I'm not gonna, like, I don't think I'm gonna, like, leave London right now though. I mean, I still have like another year on my visa, so I mean, then I suppose, like, well, that's a whole conversation for the future, but I don't think I'm going to shake up anything right now. I don't even think I want to move back to my hometown. I just think that when I come here, I do wonder, is a different world possible?